How's it going, everybody? Got this new tripod here. I'm gonna check it out. But I got a little story I want to tell about beginning of my freshman year in high school, Cambridge Ridge and Latin High School. I remember the traffic keeps going by out there, so like every now and then a car catches my eye and I look, So I'm not like super paranoid. But so it was 1984. I was 13 years old. Maybe it was. I think it was. Yeah, it was. It was before I turned 14 because I turned 14 October 23rd is my birthday. So in school I was always a year younger than people for a couple months. So anyway, I was 14 years old, and we had this. We had a what's it called? In the auditorium, they had everybody come down. It was like a big talk and everything. And Jesse Jackson was going to be there, He was running for president at the time, I believe. Oh, he was talking about it. But yeah, he was running for president, and he came to have a talk at our auditorium, at our school. So, the whole auditorium's full, all the kids in there. I mean, we had a pretty big auditorium at Cambridge Ridge and Latin, if any of you are familiar. It's a good-sized theater, stadium seating type of thing. So we're in there, and he's doing his spiel and talking about drugs, and the just say no thing had just kind of blew up in everybody's face and all that. But so the crack epidemic was happening, so that was bad, And so Jesse Jackson was talking, and he's like, hey, anybody who's ever drank a beer or partied, and like everybody in the auditorium, everybody raised their hand, and they're like, okay, keep your hands up. Now everybody who parties every week, keep your hands up. So, a bunch of people put their hands down. Everybody who, does drugs every week, keep their hands up, blah, 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 blah. So they kept going, until people kept putting their hands down, putting their hands down. And then, I won't say who it was, but there was several of us left. I still know some of you motherfuckers to this day. Maybe you guys want to chime in. But so they were like, okay, I think it was like 8 of us or 9, maybe 10 people, with our hands still up, and everybody's looking at us, and I'm a freshman, but I'm like, hey, whatever. And I wasn't shy about my my drinking or drug use at that point. At 14, I was pretty proud of it, But anyway, so Jesse Jackson goes, well, come on down here, So we're like, okay, you guys with your hands up, everybody come down to the stage, So excuse me, my freaking nose. So a bunch of us, like 10 of us, whatever it was, we walked down there. And we get up on the stage, there's little stairs, we walk up on the stage, and we walk over, and everybody's walking past, and his people are like, go back there, go backstage. And so I'm walking up, and I was like, hey, I wave at Jesse Jackson. And I had like, my mother told me one of his sayings was, never look down on somebody unless you're, reaching down to help them up, So I really liked that about him. So I was like, hey, Jesse Jackson, And so he puts his hand out and he grabs me. So I figure I'm getting a handshake, I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to get to shake Jesse Jackson's hand. You know what I mean? This is my brush of greatness, freshman in high school and on stage in front of everybody, and he grabs my hand and he freaking pulls me in for the big hug, So he hugs me, and I don't know if you can see it, but back of my head's pretty noticeable. I got these crazy wrinkles I always have since I was a kid. And so he pulls me in and he's giving me this big hug, and his face is over my shoulder and all these pictures, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell? And I thought I was just getting a handshake. So then he's like, all right, I'll see you in a minute. So I was like, all right, so I walk away like, what the hell? I just got hugged by Jesse Jackson. I was like, this is cool. And then some guy from the Globe was like, can you sign this release? And I'm like, what's it for? He's like, the Boston Globe. I took a picture. I was like, all right. He's like, you'll probably be in the paper. I was like, sure, whatever. What the fuck, So we go back there, and Jesse's on a tight schedule, right? Mr. Jackson, he's on a tight schedule. He's running for president, this and that. And he spent a good amount of time back there with us. I mean, I don't know if it was 2 hours, but, it might have been 40 minutes, an hour. And he was talking to us about, what things, this and that, what they could do for us. And he actually got the school to put a classroom aside once a week, and me and these other group of people, and it was the 80s, so of course it was called the Breakfast Club, blah blah blah, not very fucking original, but so we would go there and we meet up once a week, and what it really did was it got a group of us that really didn't know each other at all to start partying together. But it was fun. I got to know more people, and other people started hanging out at Harvard Square, and but anyway. So that all happens there, and then oh, how can we help? And Jesse's hanging. He's a good guy. You know what I mean? He seemed like a really genuine person. So I really love that about him. He seemed like, I mean, he stood there. They were telling him to go, and he was like, calm down. He sent them out of the room, and it was just us and Jesse Jackson in there. You know what I mean? Like troubled kids and one dude. You know what I mean? Who knows, right? But I don't know. Anyway, so. A couple days go by or whatever. Maybe it's the next day, but someone's like, yo, Adam, you seen the paper? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know if it was in I don't think it was on the cover, but it was in one of the covers of one of the inner paper things. But it showed me, Jesse Jackson hugging me, back of my head with Jesse's face. And the headline said, Jesse wins one from the devil. Jesse wins one from the devil. So, I mean, I'd like to say that it stuck. But it took a while after that. But yeah, so that's one of my stories. I'm gonna start trying to do this and see how they are. If I can get into editing and all that, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? But 6 minutes. All right, peace, y'all. Power to the people. Jesse Jackson's the man.